Okay, everybody, welcome and good evening. We are all set for the penultimate grid of the quarterfinal series here as part of the Rev-it Virtual Racing Challenge. Now, we've completed 75% of the quarterfinal races till now. We've just got two more left. We've got today, grid 7, and tomorrow, which will be grid 8. For the last 16 drivers, I believe, who have a chance to get into the semifinals. Remember, the top four drivers from each grid will find themselves a spot in the semifinals, which will be run later on at the end of this month. Now, I don't know about you, even though Monza has been quite a flat track all around, it's been an absolutely really exciting roller coaster of a ride over the past 1 week with all these streams. We've just got a couple more races left. So, for our new viewers, those of you who are joining for the first time, let me give you a quick little run through of what exactly is happening over here. So, Revit is a virtual racing challenge by Formula Bharat in collaboration with IR Esports. This event does have racing, but it's also a fundamental test of your engineering knowledge in setting up race cars in a typical recreation of the FS dynamic events. But there is one major difference. We will be having wheel to wheel action today. One of the many advantages of racing in the virtual world, from the safety and comfort of your nice little cozy gaming chairs and simulator rigs at home. So all these drivers are battling it out to take the checkered flag and get themselves up into the semi-finals. Formula Bharat is an Indian Formula student style engineering design competition in which students from colleges and universities all over the country compete with a life-size Formula style vehicle in areas of engineering design, overall cost, marketability, and dynamic performance. The series replicates the global Formula Student Series hosted in around 11 countries per year. Launched in 2017, each year the Formula Bharat competition hosts both combustion and electric vehicle categories. With a student community base of more than 8,000 engineering students, the platform hopes to promote practical hands on engineering experiences. Revit is also in collaboration with IR Esports, who are India's largest e-racing organizers. IR Esports has created iconic properties in the racing esports space, such as the Indian E-Racing Championship, the Volkswagen Virtual Racing Championship, Mumbai's Fastest Gamer, India's Fastest Gamer, the Indian Sim Racing League, and many more. IR Esports curates, plans, and executes custom motorsport-based campaigns via esports across various mediums. So, on that note, let's just jump into qualifying. About 10 minutes left. Remember, we do have stewards for this race, taking care of all the necessary details to ensure that the drivers do follow the rules. The race stewards for today are Aditya Pawar and Abha Mankar. Aditya Pawar is a multiple podium finisher in the Volkswagen Polo Championship, and also the winner of multiple four-stroke karting tournaments. He's also been a former test driver and stunt driver for Volkswagen Motorsport, and is also an official instructor at Jaguar. Abha Ankar was part of the Force India 1 in a Billion hunt and was in the top 10, or the top 10 finishers to be a part of that intense karting battle. She also has multiple podiums in two-stroke and four-stroke karting and has been a part of Jaguar as an instructor. So we have some very experienced hands on board to make sure that these drivers do what they need to be doing and stay out of trouble, keeping it within those white lines. All these brilliant camera angles that you see on screen are being brought to you by Feroz and Gaurav, our race directors for today. My name is Saidat, and I'd like to invite you to join us in the penultimate qualifying session in this quarterfinal series. We are in grid number 7, and we ride on board with the first car on track. That is MAZR Dhruv. Remember, we saw his teammate Athar finish in P1 in yesterday's grid. So let's first ride on board with Dhruv, give a small introduction about him. He is rocking the number 408, 408 numerical on his car. That's the number of his choice. And finally, for the first time, we do have MACR's livery on the right car. There was a small glitch yesterday, but today that Mercedes inspired livery is back on the right car. So let's hope Dhruv can also pull off an ecstatic victory just like Atharv did. He is our first car in today's grid. The next car on the grid is OMS, Otisworth Motorsports. We saw this team as well in the competition. All the way back in grade 4. Samyak Damani, who's a driver then, did finish in P1 as well. So we have another team, Otisworth Motorsport, that it has been a winner in the quarterfinal series. This time around, that car is being driven by Jenish Merulia. Remember, Otisworth has been a part of Formula Student as well. The Formula Student team from Charotar University started back in 2011. Brilliant little livery there, ultramarine blue. Those stripes, that entire side pod section. You see their sponsors are clustered on the car as well. A really nice livery that they're rocking. So let's see if Janish can also replicate his teammate's success back from grid 4. The next driver on the grid is Mugilan, who is part of Shaurya Racing. That's SR Mugilan for you on the screen. He's running in the number 117 car on his Lotus 98D. Mugilan's teammate Hari Govind was also part of grid 6 yesterday. Unfortunately, only managing to finish P6. So let's hope Mugilan can get Shaurya Racing up there in the semi-finals as well. Very straightforward livery. Nice bit of white on that monocoque section. You've got the blue on the side pods and those victory laurels on the rear wing. Let's hope they have a victory of some sort at least today. If they can get the absolute victory, that's awesome. But their target will be to get into the semi-finals in the top 4 positions by the end of today's race. The next team on board in today's grid is TUR, that's Team United Racing. The car being driven by Animesh, number 115. So we've got 3 teams in today's grid that haven't driven in the quarterfinals till now, is being reserved in the last 2 grid slots. The last 2 grids. Animesh, the first driver for TUR. Very interesting livery. We haven't seen anything quite like this up till now. It says low line in the front. Wilson, which I believe was either their sponsor or the car name. Apologies if I messed that up. They do have a nice little bit of information on their rear wing from Bharat's logo. Standard looking livery, but it does stand out at the same time. So let's hope Team United Racing can in unison get up there in the top 4. This is their first driver, Animesh Das. The next driver on grid is from Shwetashva Racing SRC, that is Yashwant, running the number 123. A very, very unique livery. I haven't seen anything like this till now. I'm quite sure none of you have seen this up till now in the competition. We've got a lot of graffiti on the rear section, on that C cabin, on that engine cover of his Lotus 98D. Coincidentally, Yashwant is the designer as well of this livery. He apparently likes graffiti a lot. He has a similar design on his bike, he says. So very nice inspiration he's brought from the real world, from his 2-wheeler onto this monstrosity of a 4-wheeler that he's driving around Monza. As he has a little bit of a battle with Animesh in front of him even before the races even started. But this is Yashwant's livery. Extremely interesting to see that they've only put that graffiti on the rear end of the car. Perhaps they plan on only letting the competition see the rear of the car. Perhaps Yashwant really does intend on being way up there in the front. Remember, SRC is also a newer team in the Formula Bharat sphere, so good luck to them. The next team on the grid is Triumphant Racers, SR, that is from Saif. That's being driven by Saif. Sorry, just have a little bit of a technical glitch, can't quite see the stream. There we go, we're back. So this is Saif, that is the number 229 car. Another red and white livery. Here we've got Triumphant Racers written all over that car. So this is another new team in this competition. And Yashwant will be looking to get his car up there in the top 4. Remember, he's the first driver of that team. And we still, we'll be seeing Prathamesh, the other driver for TR, Triumphant Racers, taking part tomorrow. But that is Saif, that is your 6th driver on the grid. We've got 2 more drivers on the grid. The next one is Phoenix Racing, being driven by Vraj, the number 204. Remember, we did see Phoenix Racing finish in P3. Nishit taking charge of that car back in grid 5, running a broken car that time around. Looks like Phoenix Racing has a bit of damage on their car this time as well. Remember, Nishit had a brilliant drive managing that car till the very end of the race. And so Vraj has no damage in the race despite having damage in qualifying today. So let's see what Vraj can do, whether Phoenix Racing can also get their way up into the semi-finals with their 2nd car. Our final car on the grid is Manav Racing, being driven by Kaustav, the 2nd Manav Racing car. He is running the number 133 on his car. Is he a Max Verstappen fan? I'm not quite sure whether he is or not, but the car is certainly red and blue, just like a Red Bull. This is, of course, a stock livery. Manav, of course, also just trying to get their way up into the semi-finals. They didn't quite have a very good race yesterday. They struggled a bit towards the end, only taking P7 in grid 6. And so Kaustav can flip their luck around and get that Manav Racing car into the semi-finals. Hopefully they can get at least one of their cars up there. That will be a good way for them to sign off the quarterfinals. But on that note, we've covered all our drivers for the grid today. Let's dive straight into the action. Only about 3 minutes left in qualifying. But looking at those times, it looks like MACR has still managed to hold P1 over their modified Auto Club Racing. One thing is for sure, they have not modified their setup. They have not modified their formula. Sticking with the one from yesterday, I'm quite sure, because it looks like that MACR car is also well out in front, only by about 9 tenths, but still holding on to pole position. OMS Janish, another race-winning car from the past grids, in P2 right now, having a 1 minute 33.8, and then a massive gap of 4.2 seconds down into P3. So Shaurya Racing having a good qualifying run. Remember, we did see some good performance from them yesterday, I believe, when they were on grid six. Shaurya Racing did take P4 back then in yesterday's race, but did drop down. This time around, Shaurya Racing has P3, and by a huge margin. There's another 6.8 seconds of a gap back into P4, which is the position held by Yashwant from SRC. So these are top four drivers right now for the grid. Let's see what else happens. We've just got about 2 minutes left in qualifying. Let's see if P5 through 7 can get their way up into the top four. So I think the only car that's not on the leaderboard right now is Manab Racing, yet to put out an outlap. So not quite sure what is up with the vehicle, but be assured there are 8 cars on the grid today. Surprisingly, we've got 8 cars for we have rarely seen that. Rarely seen a maximum participation in these grids. We either have only about 6 or 7 drivers. Good to see a fully packed grid today. Let's hope that fully packed grid also gives some fully packed, action-packed racing, if I were to say that. Um, but yeah, let's see what Saif can do. He is back down in P6. I'm quite sure he can get faster than that. 1 minute 56.6 is a good way off the pace. Let's ride on board with Saif actually and see how he fares in his qualifying run. Taking a bit too much curb over there, but managing to hold it on really well. Well done by Saif as he gets down into Lesmo 1. Just calculating his inputs over there, second guessing almost to a point as he just balances his way through into Lesmo 1. Going through Lesmo 2 right now, not taking it as aggressively as you would want to gain some time, but he still manages to keep it clean. Remember, we've seen a lot of drivers spinning at Lesmo 2. It's a corner that's caught out many a driver, many an experienced driver in this grid. As Saif makes his way into Ascari, remember, Ascari corner, very, very tricky, especially for the curves. He's taking it quite slowly, quite smoothly through the section, but he's not improving on his lap time, and that is costing him as he gets quite a slow exit down this main straight. He's got one more corner to make this count because I don't think he's going to be crossing the line before that quali timer runs out. Let's see what Saif can do. Breaking into Parabolica just about right now, turning into Parabolica. Take a tight entry and then widen your way out on exit. He's sticking onto that dark part of the grippy part of the track. That's what you want to do, holding that racing line. Smartly getting onto the right side along the wall to reduce his drag. He gets a 1 minute 50. Well, I don't know why the timer is still going on. But yeah, one thing's for sure, he's not managed to improve his lap time. He is down in P7 right now with a 1 minute 56.6. So that is qualifying over for most of these drivers. We're about 30 seconds into overtime. You all know the drill. We wait for everyone to finish their runs, and then we wait for those starting lights to switch on as the drivers prepare to line themselves up on the grid. Lot of support in the comments for MACR Dhruv. We can see a lot of support for OMS as well. Where are the other teams? Come on, get yourselves up there in the comments. This is the second to last race. We need as much support as we can for all these drivers. Remember, the top four finishers in today's race will be getting into the semifinals. Everyone wants to get into the semifinals. It's their one and only ticket into the finals. We are on the grid right now. 1 minute remains for the race to begin, and let's just take this opportunity to just look at these cars one last time before they start blitzing their way across the circuit. There we go. We've got all the cars on the grid. It's that last car which just acts as a backup as a medical car at the tail end of the grid. So it's just the first 8 cars you see on the grid that are taking part right now. 20 seconds left. Everyone's revving their engines, getting ready to battle it out to get that spot into the semi-finals. Just about waiting for those lights to come on now. They will come on at around 6 seconds, I believe. Let's wait and see. Starting sequence has begun. We've got all 6 lights on right now, waiting for the green flag any minute now. We are under green flag conditions. Looks like everybody from this angle has gotten a brilliant start. Not a single staller on the grid, which is really, really good to see. Everyone has managed to get their way through, at least up into the chicane. Let's see if it stays clean until this point. Remember, the drivers have been briefed to keep it clean. And as I say that, the Phoenix Racing driver clean runs into the back of the Shaurya Racing driver. And you see the graffitied car with the graffiti at the tail end of the car. Also, right now, at the tail end of the field, what is happening out in front? Surely there is going to be more contact there. We see it, another bit of contact. Dhruv, the MACR driver, the driver who was on pole position, straight into the wall as the Phoenix Racing driver now gets up into P2. More carnage at the back. You see drivers going wide into the gravel trap at the exit of Curva Grande. And then there's an unsafe rejoin as one of the drivers has to move out of the way. The driver rejoining the track ultimately spins, finding themselves back in the pits. Saif already has a bit of damage on his rear wing. Let's see if he can hold on to that or if he'll have to pit as well. The Shaurya Racing driver, Mugilan, struggling for grip. Looks like he also has some rear wing damage. All sorts of chaos. Not the cleanest race start we've seen, at least up till now. A lot of issues happening on track right now. And I can see that there is no sound coming on the stream. I believe I can see those comments. We're just looking into it. We can just make sure that the sound is back as soon as possible. All the drivers are making their way down the back straight. Rounding off to finish off the first lap of the race. As Dhruv is starting to fight his way back, he wants to get back into P1. That's the position he started at. He no doubt wants to finish on the top step of the podium as well. If he maintains the pace he did have in qualifying, he will be able to get up there. Let's just see what he can do. He's already lining up a move to overtake the Phoenix Racing driver down the main straight. Okay, so the sound is back. It's no longer just pure electric driving, as some of you have said in the comments. You can see those combustion engines once again. And why not? I mean, these cars have some really good boost sounds as well. They were running the turbo, remember, back in those days as well. This is from the 1986 season. Coincidentally, the car that was driven by Ayrton Senna, who used to make moves just like that, overtaking at the exit of Della Rogia. OMS Janish gets his way up into P1. Remember, OMS knows how to win, and they will very much be wanting to do the same here. He's got yesterday's race winner, the MACR team, right behind him as well. This is going to be a battle that goes down to the last corner. I hope so, as Phoenix Racing makes their way through Lesmo 2, having had a bit of chaos, I believe, at the beginning of the race. Everyone now back into racing speeds, I hope. I don't think anybody's in the pits. Looks like everybody's back on track, having fixed damage. Dhruv doesn't have any damage. I don't think he had any tussles in the race start, just lost a few positions. As you see, who is that? That is a blue car, if I'm not mistaken. That is the car. That is the OMS car who spun at Ascari. So what happened to Jenny? She clipped the curb, I believe, too much. As you see, one more car lining out, shooting itself out of Ascari, reversing back on the grid, narrowly avoiding the next car down the line. Another white car, it looks like, as OMS makes their way through Parabolica. Jenish fighting the car, wanting to get back up there in P1. He was holding it up till now. He's got the Phoenix Racing driver right up ahead of him. He's going to want to make a move, and he gets past Vraj Patel as he takes back P2. And you see Shaurya Racing getting a new fastest lap for the race. Good to see they're also fighting their way back. More carnage. Someone is planted in Retifilio. Phoenix Racing collides with him, and then OMS collides with Phoenix Racing as they get their way back on track. Why do we have so many collisions? It looks like everyone except the current race leader has had some sort of a collision in this race. Janish, I don't think, has any damage. He's not, well, he has a bit of front wing damage, but it doesn't look as critical as some of the other cars. He's now having to battle another car up front. Can we have a look at the leaderboard? It'll be good to see where exactly these cars are on the grid. There you go, Dhruv out in front. Mugil and Shaurya Racing having relatively clean race up till now, and then getting on the grass again, losing out. He also has rear wing damage. I think some of these drivers, remember, if you have terminal damage, if you have very bad, if you have some extreme levels of damage, you will have to pit. You will be penalized if you're running with a damaged car and you take someone out. The penalty will be severe. So some of these drivers will have to pit if they're losing control. Looks like Mugilan is comfortably making a pass on the grass. So it doesn't look like that broken rear wing is stopping him in any way as he manages to hold it through that section. Let's see what he does through Ascari. This is a section where you need a good amount of downforce. You can see Janish again getting it all wrong on exit. OMS straight into the wall. That car is totaled at this point. You see him not even moving. He will have to pit and get that fixed at this point. Surely, there we go. He's teleported back into the pits. As Shaurya Racing has a bit of a breather once again, they get back into P2. It's just been chaos all around the grid. There's so many things we have to discuss with these drivers at the end of this race. A lot of detailed reports we'll hopefully get some detailed information from the drivers during the post-race interviews. Let's see if MACR has a good post-race interview. Dhruv comfortably in the lead, having lost a few spots at the beginning of the race. Let's have a look at some of the drivers towards the tail end of the field. Let's see what Animesh has been doing. We haven't had a look at Animesh for a while in that TUR car, just about spinning it on the Della Roja exit and once again spinning it as he gets a bit too throttle happy. Remember, if you don't have your boost setting lowered, and he takes out another car straight out into the road. You do not want to see that. The graffitied car, that graffitied car being completely wrecked in that process. Oh man, it's just been chaos all around, isn't it? I think these drivers really do need to start keeping it clean. This is not the sort of race you want to see, especially when you have the semi-finals at stake. And all of this, that is SRC Yashwant who had that collision, unfortunately, when TUR rejoined the track at the Della Roja chicane. You see SRC Yashwant, he's got a lot of cracked carbon fiber, or maybe that's fiberglass back then. Let me know in the comments. I don't know my history that well with respect to the materials being used. Quite sure it would be carbon fiber, but it does look like glass fiber. Either way, he's got a bit of damage on that windshield, or whatever you could call a windshield, just the end of the A cabin, just in front of that roll hoop as he makes his way around Parabolica. Bent front wing up in front. He is going to the right side of the track, but of course that's not for pitting. He is trying to just maximize the sort of aerodynamic gains that you get by running very close to that wall. It's almost a bit like a suction, a bit like the diffuser. Doesn't quite work as well for these cars as something like, a NASCAR stock car, but it nonetheless does have a small effect as Yashwant gets it all wrong through Retifilio, spinning it into the grass. Who is the only? It looks like only the front two runners are having crystal clear races till now. That too, Shaurya Racing did have a bit of a collision up back in the beginning of the race as they got a bit of contact, especially the first few corners. But SR, Mugil and Shaurya Racing having a turn in their luck right now, having a comfortable P2, having finished only P5 in yesterday's race. So is this Shaurya Racing's time to shine and get their car into the semi-finals? Who else do we have? Saif making a good charge back from P7 up the field, holding P5 for the time being as he starts hunting down the Phoenix Racing driver, Raj Patel, who we've seen in multiple incidents till now. One, I believe, in the beginning of the race, and then another one here we saw at the first corner a couple of laps ago, getting it all wrong on the sausage curb. Saif not able to keep it straight on track. He's going to want to stay off the grass to prevent the rear end from kicking out as he comfortably takes Parabolica once again. I say comfortably, but it actually doesn't look like that. Um, he's all over the place. But as long as you're not wrecking, there we go. He dives into the pit, so it looks like he's not able to control the car at all. Let's hope it doesn't cost him too much time. We know he's over a lap ahead of TUR Animesh, but all the time you spend in the pits, you will be losing out to the car in front. That is PR Phoenix Racing from P4. Remember, a lot of collisions might be a car which might be investigated towards the later half after the race is over. But Saif really needs to start getting a move on if he wants to take P4 on track. Yashwant with a damaged car also managing to hold it, managing to keep it on track for the time being. See the race leader getting it all wrong as he breaks into Della Roggia, and he's got SR Mugilan right behind him. This is as close as he. No, so sorry, that was not Della Roggia. Sorry, that was Ascari. You see this real tight battle going on in the front end of the field. We have not seen this until now in the competition. A battle this close for the front pack, for the first place position, for the position out in front. Dhruv gets it all wrong on exit. He's also got damage. The front wing bent one way, the rear wing the other way. He is surely diving into the pits. He knows better than to continue with that out in front. He has a comfortable lead to P4 and potentially P5. So he does have the pace to get into semi-finals. Although he sees that race lead being taken away by Mugilan, who's now our new race leader. Shaurya Racing all the way up in P1 right now, making their way through for another lap. Remember, we've just got around 9 minutes of the race left. I think this race has had almost everything. We've had multiple people leading the race up till now. Remember, SR was up there, Mugilan was up there. I believe Phoenix Racing was also up there for a while, dropping down to P4 right now. MACR in the pits, Dhruv wanting to perhaps get back up there. Remember, OMS Jenish was also leading the race for a good amount of time before he lost it at Ascari. We've got at least four different people leading the race at some point up till now. You see OMS Jenish fighting one of the, I believe that is SRC Yashwant. Surely OMS is a lap car, but he has more pace looking at that qualifying run he had earlier on before the race start. So Jenish will start clawing his way back up the field, but 330 seconds, that's a lot of time to make up. That's almost 4 laps. That is almost 4 laps worth of racing to be done before he gets up to Mugilan. Provided Mugilan stops on track, he doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. He is pulling away comfortably in P1 right now. So from that angle, it looked like SRC, looks like MACR lost his car at Parabolica. Some people in the comments reckon that was some sort of a collision. Not quite sure what happened in that is. A specific incident. I would encourage you all to also have a look at the replay. Maybe you can even scroll back on the stream to have a look at what exactly happened there. But that's what it looked like from that perspective. MACR just getting it all wrong at Parabolica. Right now, MSCR drove is back into P3, but he's surely gonna want to start hunting down P2. His first target will be P2, 20 seconds up the road. SRC Yashwant, the graffitied car, way out in P2. Not what's happening back here in the tail end of the field. All three cars involved in a collision at Lesmo 2, all going very slow. Two red cars, one blue car. Who are they? And you've got the yellow car of Phoenix coming up. So the cars involved in that incident, Manab Racing, Kostov, that's surely Triumphant Racing, Saif, and Team United Racing, Animesh. All three cars involved in some sort of a collision over there. I still can't see. There we go. Manab Racing is about 300 seconds behind P7. So Manab Racing not having the best of days right now. As you see one of the red cars hopping the curb over there. That is the TUR driver of Animesh. Don't want to be doing any of those stunts, Animesh and Saif as well, both having a lot of ground to cover before they can find their way up into the semi-finals. Another incident we'll have to look at, remember, TR, the TR, and the MR drivers all having some sort of a collision at Lesmo 2. So Phoenix Racing now comfortably holding P4, and he will want to hunt down Dhruv, who's on a charge as well. Remember, that gap has now dropped from 20 seconds down to 10 seconds. So Dhruv is definitely hunting down Yashwant, and our race leader in all of this chaos, in this fiasco, is running away up in front. There you have it, race leader way out in front, 55 seconds right now. That gap obviously varying between 45 and 55 seconds based on how the game calculates relative times. Remember, it's using relative distances and also average speeds to calculate all of that. So not quite as accurate as different timing sensors as used in real life. Surprisingly, it seems to be less accurate in game, but some things are not always completely polished out. The important thing is these cars are handling quite realistically as they make their way around Curva Grande, breaking into Della Roggia. OMS Janish was once a long time back the race leader, now miles behind P4. He's the only thing he can really hope for, some sort of a penalty maybe up front, or someone having some sort of unfortunate accident. Only about 4.5 minutes, it looks like, looking at the race clock. Only around 4.5 minutes left in this race. Janish has got only that much time to make his way up into P4. So yeah, every single driver having some sort of chaotic action on track. SRC, of course, being one of those cars that got smashed into at that exit at Della Roggia, remember, and he still got all those broken bits of chassis up in front, those broken composite bits on his car. He's obviously seeing that view, but he seems to be unfazed, happily holding on to P3, happy to be in that position with MACR Dhruv right now behind him. You can see him back there. Let's ride on board with Dhruv and see how he hunts down, if he manages to hunt down SRC Yashwant with about 3 minutes, just under 4 minutes of the race left. There we go, MACR Dhruv getting back into P2, and then you see the SRC driver fighting back. So you've got this little tussle going on, a good 1 minute behind the leader out in front. Let's see if Dhruv can again make that move stick. Undoubtedly, SRC does have hidden pace. We haven't seen till now SRC having to fight their way to hold that position. Remember, Dhruv was about 12 seconds faster than Yashwant in qualifying as he tries fighting back into the next corner. You've got back markers up in front, both the red cars of Saif and Animesh trying to battle themselves out of P6 or P7, and then the back marker gets in the way. It looks like Dhruv misjudges his turn in and just misjudges his way off track. There is contact between SRC and MACR as you see SRC now in the pit. So SRC and MACR having lap traffic. Oh man, there's all sorts of chaos now happening here with the final couple of minutes of the race left. All these incidents will definitely have to be investigated. I think we had more incidents in this race than the past 3 races combined. A lot of shuffling will definitely happen once post-race penalties are applied. But as the order stands, Mogilan is in P1, Dhruv now holding P2, the Phoenix Racing driver Raj Patel holding P3, and SRC P4. Yashwant back in the pits right now. He still has P4 by a mile, but he will want to get back up there in the podium spots because right now Phoenix Racing has inherited that spot already about 30 seconds up the road. There you have P3 driver Raj Patel. Remember, he was involved in a first lap collision with MACR as well towards the beginning of the race. He's now behind the MACR driver, holding on to P3 as he's got some lap traffic, I think, behind. And then that Manab Racing, blue color Manab Racing car up front. Back marker is in the way as well. Another collision between PR and the back marker. That's PR and Manab. And then more collisions between PR and That I believe is the blue and white car. That is our race leaders. That is Mugilan. So PR and Mugilan also having contact over there. Lap traffic all around, three cars all on entirely different laps, going trying to go side by side through Ascari. This is what's going to happen. If that happens, all sorts of chaos right now. I don't know who is where at this point on track. Everybody's had some sort of collision. I know there's a bit of discussion going on in the comments, but rest be assured we will have a discussion with the drivers as well. Let's keep it super civil and excited in the comments. Remember, everyone's fighting for the semi-finals. Sometimes hard racing happens. Have been some dirty moves as well, but we will have a chat later on and see what will be done. But as the order stands, Mugilan still happily holding on to P1 in front, happy to hold that position, pulling away now from Dhruv. Dhruv trying to fight back, and then P3 Vrajesh holding on to P3. Yeah, Vrajesh holding on to P3 as the order stands. SRC Yashwant is back on track, but he's got a lot of ground to cover if he wants to get onto the podium. Let's ride on board with Mugilan. We've just got 15 seconds of the race left and see where Mugilan is on track. He's making his way, that is, I believe, through Della Rogia, making his way through Lesmo 1. Is that Lesmo 1? Yes, it is. It's Lesmo 1 as he gets back into turning into Lesmo 2 for one last time as the race clock hits 0. We are in overtime. So when Mugilan crosses the line, he will finish with the P1. He will finish on the top step of the podium, but he's got to make it past Ascari. Remember, a lot of collisions have happened here. If he has back markers or if he misjudges his entry, everything can go wrong for Shaurya. It's not gone wrong till now. They have held a decent lead with some chaos up till now, taking it very conservatively through Ascari. One last time, Mugilan just has one corner, one long downforce heavy corner left before him and the finish line. Let's see how he takes the last corner in this last time around in this quarterfinal shootout. Second guessing once again, having to throw that car in. So there is some front end damage in that car. He's not able to hold it in with just one smooth motion. As he crosses the line, Shaurya Racing has a turn in their luck as they take P1, albeit some chaos up till now. As they take P1, let's wait for Dhruv to take P2. Dhruv is miles behind. He's a whole minute behind. He's just making his way through the first of the Lesmos right now, getting through Lesmo 2 and making his way down the back straight right now. We are 1 minute into overtime. Remember, if you do not finish within 2.5 minutes of overtime, your result will not be counted, and whatever position you were in at the beginning of that lap will be your final result. So let's hope for these drivers' sakes, everybody makes their way across the line safely. TUR Animesh has lost a huge chunk of time. That's 700 seconds worth of time lost. That's a good. It's about 8 laps worth of time lost on track at that point. Really sad finish for TUR over there, but I don't think Dhruv will be too unhappy with this result. He did have P1 in the bag at least from qualifying. Remember, he was P2 in fact in qualifying. OMS Janish taking P1, but somehow he is managed to find his way back into P2. The OMS driver Janish is in P5. He will be quite unhappy with that result because he was the pole sitter. I believe most of these cars would have finished the race by this point. We are just waiting for the overtime to finish so that we can close out on this race and have a look at the final standings. There you have it. That's your final standings for this race for grid number 7. You have Mugilan K from Shaurya Racing up in front, taking P1. MACR Dhruv from Modified Auto Club Racing. Dhruv Divyesh Joshi taking P2, having started P2 and having held the lead for a good part of the race in the beginning. Raj Patel from Phoenix Racing also having a few collisions in the beginning of the race, taking P3 for Phoenix. Yashwant S from Shweta Racing, one of the newer teams, happy to take P4. I would assume SRC starting P4, finishing P4, taking that graffiti car up there. One of the cars that had very few collisions. I think throughout the race we have to have a look. Jenny Shaw from Ojaswat, the pole sitter, being stuck now in P5 by the end of the race. Very disappointing result for Ojaswat. Saif from Triumphant Racers not managing to improve from P7 just by one place, but not enough to get himself into the finals. And then you've got Animesh Das from Team United Racing rounding off P7 on the grid, and Kaustov Ghosh from Manav Racing having a slightly disastrous race, but still managing to somehow finish the race, taking P8 and taking a solid 180 points in the championship. So, on that note, let's have a word with the drivers. There are going to be some feisty interviews. I hope everything is civil. I hope the drivers give a good insight to what exactly happened. I think the first driver I would personally like to invite onto the interview room. Do we have Yashwant from SRC, the graffiti driver who started P4 and took P4? Let's get Yashwant on board in the interview. Okay, so we don't have Yashwant on board. We do have Animesh Das from Team United Racing, TUR. Animesh, unfortunate to be finishing P7. You did start P5. Can you first run us through maybe what happened in the race start? Did that cost you positions initially?
Actually, I lost one position in the beginning of first corner, where there was a crash. Uh, I caught up in the crash because I had contact with driver on the right side, and then we I carry forward on the race, but the whole race was a mess. At each point, when I'm getting a lead, uh, you know, there's someone coming from behind and hitting my rear tires, uh, causing me to go into the pit.
Yep, yep. We also saw, I think, a small collision there at that the second chicane. Before Lesmo won at Della Rosia. I think when you were getting back on track, there was another collision. So yeah, did you get any damage from all of those collisions? How many times did you have to pit in this race?
I guess two to three times, I guess. And
Hmm.
I'm not complaining that all drivers were good, but the thing is, it was not a the race was not uh, what can I say? Not professional, to be honest.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, no problem. I mean, I won't be complaining as
Yeah.
others also face the crashes, but I was greatly impacted by the crashes and
Yeah.
very unfortunate crashes.
It is. It really is unfortunate. Sometimes races end up like this. There is a bit too much chaos, even with just 8 cars on the grid. But you should be really proud, Animesh. First year team
Yeah,
in Formula Bharat from TUR Team United Racing. You managed to get P5. That's a very respectable lap time of 1 minute 45.9. Actually, just missing out P4. In fact, so congratulations, Animesh. Good job on your first attempt for quarterfinals. I believe your second driver for the team, Anurag, is yet to race tomorrow. So
yeah.
good luck to the team. Go ahead, enjoy, have a discussion with the team, and strategize for tomorrow. Have a great
Thanks
evening,
a lot.
Animesh.
Thanks a lot. Same to you.
So we've got Animesh from TUR just finishing his interview. I think the next driver, if we can get on board, can we get Yashwant now on board P4? I'd like to start with the final. The last of the top four. I really like starting with P4 in the interview. So if we can get Yashwant next on board, it'll be great to have an idea of how his race went. Just waiting for Yashwant to finish his mic check. Just kindly give it 20 seconds, please. Yep, we've got Yashwant in the interview room. Congratulations on getting in the top four. Yashwant started P4, held P4 quite considerably, although going up and down in the field. He's left the interview again. Just waiting for him to be brought back into the room. Of course, Discord, we need to do a bit of shuffling to get drivers into the interview room. It's just one of those technicalities. So kindly bear with us as we do another mic check for Yashwant. Welcome, Yashwant. Congratulations on getting P4, starting P4 in qualifying. You had a bit of a roller coaster of a race yourself. Could you first run us through maybe any incidents? Did you have any incidents in the beginning of the race? Hello, Yashwant. Can you hear me? Okay, I think we'll need to get Yashwant back later on, maybe towards the end of the interviews. Can we get the P3 driver? The P3 driver on board. I think that's Vraj Patel from Phoenix Racing. If we could get Vraj into the interview room, that'll be great. Hello, welcome, Vraj. Congratulations on taking P3. We saw you have a little bit of a messy. He's left the room as well. Really sorry for these technical glitches, viewers. Give us a couple of minutes, please. Hello, Vraj. Can we do a quick mic check, please? You could unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, welcome, Vraj. Congratulations on getting P3, making it into the podium. Albeit a
Thank you,
little
sir. Thank
messy race, maybe at the start. You started P3,
Yeah,
finished P3, but we saw a small collision in T1. Could you run us through what happened there?
yes, sir. Initially, we messed up in the starting, but finally, our efforts showed, and we made to position three.
Yep, yep. It's good to see you got your way back up there after that first lap collision. We saw a couple more collisions, I think. Especially we saw a few you running wide at Retifilio. I think it was maybe in the first half of the race. There were two other cars, some lap traffic as well. You know what happened over there?
Yeah, yeah. It was like a little bit messy there, and uh, I confused there, but finally, the consistent effort made us to position three.
Yep. So it's good to see. It's all about consistency to get yourself up there on the podium. Congratulations on taking that podium finish, Vraj. Of course, a lot of things to still look at, but as the order stands, at least now you're in P3. So congratulations on that. I believe you did. Your team has also gotten another car into the semi-finals as of that result. So
Yeah.
congratulations, Phoenix. So go ahead, have a celebration with your team, and stay tuned for the final results after all the investigations.
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah, we can see a lot of hype in chat for Mugilan. Patience, please. We will be bringing the race winner on. But before that, let's get P2 driver Dhruv on board from Modified Auto Club Racing, if we can. Welcome, Dhruv. Congratulations on getting P2. Started P2, held on to the lead for a while, and then there was a small collision there, especially at Parabolica. But before that, we saw you getting taken out, I believe. There was some collision in
Eh,
T1. Could you run us through what happened at the race start?
I mean, to be honest, racing incidents happen, but hopefully this would not happen. I will make sure maximum from my side that I do not get into situations like these, so it compromises my own race.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
unfortunate, always T1 into Retifilio, especially in Monza, can get
yeah,
a
yeah,
little messy. But rest be assured, all these incidents will be looked at. Then we saw you had a little bit of a roller coaster of a race. You were in the lead for a while, and then I
yeah.
believe Mugilan, the Shaurya racing driver, was behind. And then we saw you crash at Parabolica. Could you maybe let us know what happened there? From the camera angle, it was a little difficult to judge what happened.
I think we crashed before at the entry of Ascari,
Okay,
if I
so that was
remember
a collision. Yep.
correctly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
saw
was
both
a
of you.
collision.
Yeah, I saw you
Now,
on the gravel.
he was just slipstreaming me, and definitely slipstreaming. He will go to the outside. I'll capture the inside. But I saw my breaking point. I started braking. He just came into me.
Okay.
Now, that, my side of the story, I would have to check the replay again, just watch the video again and see whether it was my mistake or Mulligan's or whose, we don't know.
Okay, okay,
And
it's
I guess
interesting.
the race towards from IR Esports would be sufficient to decide what the incident was, right?
Yeah, rest be assured, we'll be
Yeah.
the race tours will be looking at everything. So don't worry about that. But after that, you crashed at Parabolica. So was that basically the result of the initial collision? Did you have damage from that?
Yeah, I mean, it eventually piles up because I guess around lap 2 or lap 3 also I had a collision which took out my front wing. And 2 laps later I had a collision which took out my rear wing in a yellow phase. And when I had the collision with Mugilan, I completely lost my rear wing. So okay, like you can roll with the punches. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I guess at the end of the day, all's well that ends well because at least you've got P2 for the time being, uh, at least as per this classification. But solid run back after that. We saw you charging back up the field from I believe P4. So great drive through. We saw you have the pace in qualifying. But congratulations, as of now, you do have your second car from Modified Auto Club Racing into the semi-final. So congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate with your team. Have a great evening.
All right, I just want to thank my college, AP Shah, my entire Mac Racing team for supporting me, my other driver Atharva to encourage, and my entire team to, just make sure that this was a good race and I had a good car to race in.
For sure. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mac Racing in P2 today. The next driver, let's get Mugilan finally on board. Everyone's been asking for Mugilan to get back in the interview room as well. So let's get our race winner as of the standings, Mugilan, into the commentary booth, please. Hi, welcome, Mugilan. Congratulations on taking P1. You had P1 by the end of the race. So congratulations on taking that. We saw a few collisions. We had a word with P2 driver Dhruv as well. Could you maybe let us know what happened into that braking zone at Ascari?
Yeah, sure. I was just like following him very closely, and then yeah, I just think he braked a bit too early, and I just couldn't react to it. So couldn't avoid it. Just went directly to the back of him.
I see. Yes, we saw that both of you were in the gravel after that. Both spun out. And you undoubtedly had some front wing damage from that, right? How difficult was it to follow drivers after that incident?
Yeah, it was like very difficult because already I had my waving completely gone after the first lap incident. So but I didn't have to push that much after that incident because like there was no clear cut competition behind. So just kept tried to keep it in the road. That's all. So yeah.
Yeah, well, either way, congratulations on holding it till the end. Of course, we'll have to have a look at all these incidents. But as the standings, as the order stands, you do have P1. So
Yeah.
congratulations on getting one of the Shaurya racing cars into semis as of now. Go ahead and have a good time with your team. Congratulations once again.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
So we are a little strapped for time right now with all the chaos that's happened on track. Maybe if we could get Ojesworth on board, the pole sitters. They didn't have the best of races today, having finished P5, but they did start from the front end of the grid. So maybe if we can have a word with Ojesworth, that'd be a good way to wrap up everything that's happened today. Hello, Janish. Welcome. Very unfortunate to see you drop from pole position to P5. That's quite a massive drop across the race. Did you lose that position at the start of the race, or was it some sort of a collision later on?
Yeah, so actually it was not a collision initially. So what happened was, uh, uh, after exiting the Ascari chicane, uh, I don't know, my laptop screen just started flashing. So I just spun out there because I couldn't figure out what to do. Then I again picked up the pace and again took up the P2 position. Then at the same point in the second lap, it again happened. So there I lost control and my car got hit into the barriers and engine was failed. So due to which I had to pit, and I got a massive penalty of around 20 seconds, and due to which I lost all the positions. Still, I managed to pick up two more positions. Like I uh, got from P7 to P5, but time was over, so I couldn't do much.
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I think that really did cost the rest of the race. So it was really sad to see then that you dropped down. Did you have any other tussles on track, or was it relatively clean? I only remember seeing you spin at Ascari.
Yeah, actually, it was clean from the start only. Like I think I took 6 to 7 seconds of lead in the start itself,
Yep.
and I was already clean all the way. But after I crashed like one time, then few people did came in my way, and then due to which maybe I could have costed P4 as well. I don't know
Well,
much.
sometimes that's how racing goes, I suppose. Some days the curbs don't
Yeah,
want to be nice to you, but nonetheless, congratulations, Janish. You all at Ojesworth have gotten one of the cars at least in the semis as of the standing. Samyak winning grid 4. So
yeah,
still great effort from all of your end. You all have the pace. So congratulations, and have a great evening, Janish.
yeah. Thank you so much.
So I believe maybe last two drivers we have to have a chat with will be Saif and I believe Kaustav from Manab Racing. So we can get Saif from Triumphant Racers on board. It'll be great. Yeah, so that would be if you could get Saif from from Triumphant Racers on board, it's actually one of the things we'd really like to have a look at is that collision. We saw between TR, and MB towards the end of the race. Welcome, Saif. You made your way back up from P7 up to from P7 to P6. Unfortunately, it was just not enough, at least as the order stands, to get into the semi-finals. How was your race from your charge from the tail end of the grid?
It was good. There was something which really had to consult about, but the race was good. The players did very well. Felt there was something missing in my setup, and while the thing which gone wrong, something was I crashed in players. Then uh, then I didn't figure it out as soon as I figured it out, it was getting my car was bending towards left without any reason, and as soon as I figured out, I pitted, and that took me a long time. That just
So,
pushed me down.
unfortunately, your voice was cutting towards the latter end of that sentence. But if correct me if I'm wrong, I heard that so there were some issues with the setup and the car was kind of losing control after getting damaged. Correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Actually, I took some time to figure it out that my car is damaged and it is moving towards left without any
Okay.
reason.
Yeah. So it
That
was damaged.
cost
Correct.
me.
Yeah. Right. And I think one more thing we might just want to hear from your end. We saw a collision between your car, Team United Racing, and Manab Racing. There was animation caused towards the end of the race at Lasmo 2. Could you maybe let us know what happened there?
Actually, the car with the blue UV, I don't know what he was doing, but from start he was just randomly rolling in the left, going left, going right, not giving ways. Uh, that was the reason. That was reason took me so long.
Right.
That also where I crashed and pitted.
I understand. Right. So it
So
was one of the cars that were weaving, and yeah, we saw a lot of chaos there, especially in the back marker side. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, sometimes this happens, but either way, still a good solid effort for your team. You do have one more driver joining tomorrow, correct? So
Yeah.
good luck to you and your team, triumphant racers. A solid effort today, Saif. You guys just figure things out, and hopefully tomorrow everyone from your team, you guys and gals, can all get together and put out a good formula for tomorrow's race.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Congratulations. Yep. The last driver we have on board is Kostov. If we could just get Kostov from Manab Racing on board, we could wrap up all the interviews and just get an idea of what happened from his perspective. Welcome, Kostov. Unfortunate to be finishing at the back end of the field, but we did see you charge towards the end and try to finish the race. So, firstly, congratulations and good job on finishing that race and getting those 180 points. Mainly, what I wanted to ask was what happened. Maybe in he's left the room, I guess. Again. Yeah, hi, Kaustav. Firstly, congratulations on finishing the race. You did get a solid 180 points for your team. Unfortunate to be finishing in P8. Could you let us maybe run us through what happened on Lesmo? I believe Lesmo 2, there was a collision between you and two other cars.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I was just moving forward, and like I was at one end of the track, and suddenly out of nowhere, I don't know, that car came and just crashed me. So I got to side, and another car came and collided with that car who crashed me, and then they just collided in the middle of the road. So while turning, even I crashed. That thing
Yep.
happened, and in the starting of the race itself, I got a penalty. So I did not know why did I get that penalty of, I guess, 300 and something seconds.
I see. I see. Okay, so maybe it could have been a corner cut, unless, of course, it could also be if you don't grid on the track in time. But either way, we will have a look at that as well. But
Okay,
still,
sir.
we had a solid run through the field. Holding that position. Did you have any other moments in the race which you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, the practice session just before the race was, I think it helped a lot. Like it was great, and yeah, nevertheless, this was a very new experience for me for the entire. I guess this was the first time the Rev-it event was held. So yes, it was a great experience. Great playing great having the race. It was great fun. Yeah, that's
Yep.
it.
Great job to you and your team in the competition. You put solid
Thank you
effort
very
for the
much.
quarterfinals. Have a great evening. Congratulations on finishing the race.
Thank you very much.
So, our viewers, that is the end of quite a long, twisty tale of different opinions and first-hand views of what happened from all these incidents from these drivers. Thank you all for joining us today. We had a really nice, really good experience, a very interesting race to say the least, with all these drivers fighting it out on track. Either way, congratulations to our top four who finished. We're yet to look at all those incidents, of course, but as the order stands, you can see that on screen. But on that note, we have finished the penultimate round of the quarterfinals. We have just one more race left in this quarterfinal series that will be taking place tomorrow at the same time. So on that note, I'd like to sign off on behalf of IR Esports, Formula Bharat, Optimum G, and everyone else involved in making Revit a huge success, and also to all of our viewers here who have made it a huge success and who have been supporting these drivers. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you all tomorrow.